Hi, VencoreWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Tuesday afternoon, February 21st. Quite an interesting weather pattern here in the eastern half of the nation. We have a kind of an unusual low pressure system down by the Gulf of Mexico that will become a soaking rain event for Alabama, Georgia, and especially Florida from tomorrow into Thursday. Could even create some severe thunderstorm activity later tomorrow into tomorrow night over the Florida Peninsula. That system only slowly moves past the southern part of Florida into the western Atlantic over the next 48 to 72 hours or so, and then some of its moisture could actually get wrapped up into a frontal system that will approach the I-95 corridor region of D.C., Philadelphia, and New York City over the weekend. That front looks like it'll cross the I-95 corridor region Saturday night, usher in some colder air on Sunday, but ahead of it, possible record warm conditions on Thursday and Friday. In fact, it looks like it'll hit 70 degrees or higher in D.C. for highs on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Probably 70 or above in Philly on Thursday and Friday, and perhaps even a flirtation with the 70-degree mark in New York City in the latter part of the work week. But again, it looks like this frontal system will be kind of a pattern changer where we'll go to a colder week next week following the very mild conditions of this week, and that front pushes through Saturday night into early Sunday. Well, let's start off by looking at this Gulf of Mexico system right here, situated over Arkansas right now. At least at the surface in the upper level, it's more or less over the northern part of the Gulf of Mexico. All this green represents rainfall. Another main player on the map right now is this high pressure system right along the New England coastline. As that continues to push off the coastline over the next 12 hours or so, it'll open the floodgates for warmer air to push into the mid-Atlantic region. And again, 70 degrees is possible for highs tomorrow in D.C. and certainly by Thursday in Philadelphia after that high moves off the East Coast. And this follows a temporary setback in the temperatures on Monday and Tuesday, but a very warm second half of the week coming for the northeastern U.S. Well, let's take a look at some forecast maps from the 12Z GFS model run. First, we'll start at 500 millibars for tomorrow morning, Wednesday morning. Here's a very vigorous upper level low for this time of the year that again is dropping in this fashion here. It'll cross over the southern part of Florida, produce some significant rain in Alabama, Georgia, and Florida from Wednesday into Thursday. It's a slow mover. And let's now jump ahead another 24 hours to see, in fact, how slow of a mover this particular system is. And here we go. By Thursday morning, it's only moved to the southern tip of Florida here. And this represents some cool air in the atmosphere. So with that cooling air in the upper part of the atmosphere combined with the very impressive low-level moisture amounts, that could result in enough buoyancy to support some strong to severe thunderstorms Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday evening over the Florida Peninsula. Again, this is a very slow mover, just dropping in this fashion, and ultimately it just pushes up along the eastern seaboard, and believe it or not, some of its moisture can wrap into the frontal system in the mid-Atlantic region over the weekend. Farther to the west, we notice a pretty vigorous upper level wave of energy here dropping over the Rockies into the Central Plains. All that associated with that frontal system that would become kind of a pattern changer here in the northeast U.S. by the latter part of the weekend. Well, let's go out another 24 hours. This is Friday morning. That low, upper low over the Florida Peninsula, only moving slowly now, starting to pull a little bit to the north. And again, some of its moisture may get wrapped in with this advancing frontal system by Friday morning, which will be situated over the Central Plains. Moves into the I-95 corridor late Saturday or Saturday night. Well, let's walk through some surface forecast maps from the 12Z GFS model run. This is for tomorrow morning, Wednesday morning. Surface low pressure just off the west coast of Florida. Some rain over Alabama and Georgia, and this will become a heavy rain event for probably the southern two-thirds of the state of Florida, with up to 2.5, maybe even 3 inches of rain by the midday on Thursday. And again, with the cooling in the upper part of the atmosphere, there can be some strong to severe thunderstorm activity that forms the latter part of tomorrow into tomorrow night, so we'll monitor that here at VencoreWeather.com. Well, here we go, 24 hours later, broad low pressure still situated over the Florida Peninsula. In fact, the surface low tends to loop back around towards the state of Florida. That'll continue the threat for showers and thunderstorms on Thursday. Meanwhile, out in the Rockies, heading into the Central Plains is this low pressure area, and this is the beginnings of that cold frontal system that we'll watch here in the northeast U.S. because it will usher in some colder air by the time we reach the Sunday-Monday time frame. Let's now jump ahead another 24 hours to Friday morning. By this time, that low is still situated not far off the east coast of Florida. Some of the moisture starting to ride up along the eastern seaboard. Meanwhile, a strong frontal system at this time in the Central Plains. By the way, this could produce some severe weather out in the Central Plains and the Midwest for the latter part of the work week into the early part of the weekend. That could be a pattern for the next several weeks. Expected to be quite a severe weather type of pattern here with a lot of cold air across the west and central part of the nation and a continuation of the southeastern ridge with warm air, humid air down in the southeast U.S. That could produce quite a clash here over the next month and a half or so, and it could be quite a severe weather season in the Central Plains and the Midwest. Let's now jump ahead another 24 hours. Well, here we go. By Saturday morning, that strong cold frontal system advancing to the I-95 corridor. What remains of that Gulf of Mexico low is situated off the mid-Atlantic coastline. Again, kind of an unusual pattern here for this time of the year. And some of this moisture will actually interact with this advancing cold frontal system, some showers, maybe even a couple of thunderstorms in the I-95 corridor later Saturday evening as that cold front approaches. And then finally by Sunday, much colder conditions will ride in on northwest winds here in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. And some of that cold air will penetrate all the way into the southeastern U.S. So an interesting weather pattern, and we'll continue to monitor closely here at VencoreWeather.com. That's it for now. I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.